And today we recognize the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women and the beginning of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Online violence against women is part of a spectrum of gender-based violence that keeps women from exercising their full human rights. Digital Dada podcast kicked off the 16 days of activism by engaging female journalism students at the University of Nairobi, where women in the media industry shared their experiences with online violence.
With my wig.
The rise in gender-based violence assisted by technology, including cyberbullying, cyberstalking, hate speech, and gender disinformation, is worrying.
People go through stress. People actually leave the online spaces. Journalists start self-censoring themselves. So we are creating awareness. That's the first step. After we create awareness, do we have policies to protect women online?
When online violence forces women out of digital spaces, the consequences can be far-reaching.
We have something called the digital gender divide. You find more men are online. More men are using the online space to advance themselves while we are here getting worried about being attacked.
Increasingly, workers in various industries, including the media, may feel that they need to maintain a strong online presence. In this context, insults, defamation, threats, and hate speech are enabled and facilitated by digital technologies.
I have gone through that myself, and I feel very strongly that it's time we started talking about this. The same way we think that someone being beaten is violence, is the same way someone being called names is violence. There is physical violence, and then there is the emotional violence, which hurts just as deep.
Also learned about the human psyche is that you can have, again, 100 comments of positivity and 5 comments of someone saying something you wouldn't even imagine saying to anyone else. And you will always remember that negative one. It keeps playing in your head.
I did go for therapy at some point.
The far-reaching impact of abuse on women's professional and personal lives is that many affected women choose to opt out of certain social networks.
The minute I see something that doesn't sit well with me, you're blocked and you're deleted.
These social media platforms give you such options. You get to block, you get to close comments, you get to restrict people, you get to control your own space.
Digital Dada podcast engaged female journalism students in this conversation as they venture into journalism, which will put most on the spotlight.
You can't control people's perception, the perception they have of you. You can't control it, but you can control how you react to them. You can control the things you put out there.
To counter online violence at the individual level is to start by not accepting impunity.
This is the internet, and the person cyberbullying you or harassing you might be in the US or in Tanzania. So it's not quite clear-cut as the normal gender-based violence. So I encourage women to also report this account so they can be suspended. It's a form of penalty.
Men should lend their voice to this cause, because if you're a man out there, you've got a sister, you've got a wife perhaps, or a daughter, and the same thing that is being perpetrated out there against other women could happen to your own person.
There is an urgent need to address this online abuse and to turn the tables and harness the power of technology as